Introducing a whole new way to save from Xfinity. Get Xfinity Internet with unlimited data, Wi-Fi equipment, and a free streaming box included with a 2-year rate guarantee and no contract. All for just $30 per month when you add an Xfinity mobile plan. Switch today.
Welcome to the Suburban Silver, the brand new Silver Conference. Virtual Media Day. We kick things off alphabetically. We start with Lee Summit Coach Eric Thomas. And Coach, 5 divisions now in the Suburban Conference as it continues to grow, with Excelsior Springs joining this year. And it's a little more, the Class 6 schools are kind of broken into 2 groups, and then the Class 5s and 4s are down below. And it gives you a little more scheduling freedom than what we had with 4. First off, what do you like about the conference this year? I mean, you get some teams you've been in the conference with, and then you bring down at least some at North that you usually see anyway. So
anyway, that's exactly right. I mean, there's some movement up, some movement down within that new Silver Conference. That was kind of I would say the superintendents kind of threw us for a loop on that when it first came out. It wasn't something that I think was on a lot of people's radar. But I think as we get into it, as we start looking at it, man, I really like it. Because what ends up happening, honestly, if you look at our non-conference games, the majority of them are in the gold. And I think the gold happens the same way. The majority of their non-conference is in the silver. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. Man, so competitive between the gold and the silver. And you know, the conference is going to be competitive. The Class 6 districts are going to be competitive. We've got some schools that continue to grow to get into Class 6 in the KC metro area, and man, it's just great football in the KC metro area between those conferences. We have great coaches, great players, and I think that's becoming more and more recognized across the country. As you talk to college guys that are coming in and seeing what's going on in the KC metro area, man, it's exciting, and that's a credit to our coaches. You're not going to out-coach anybody in these conferences. Man, you got to have your kids fundamentally prepared and ready to go, and it's exciting. And then the movement amongst coaches within our conferences has been absolutely crazy this year. And you know, I kind of feel like I'm the guy that's still at the same place. Maybe I should have went somewhere different, but there's just been a tremendous turnover of coaches in our conference, and some young coaches getting in, and it's an exciting time within both conferences. And especially in the silver, as everybody's kind of vying for that first ever silver conference champion, you know.
Well, tell me this. I know last year you really had a lot of fun with that group of seniors, and they did real well for you. And you know, some of them went and played basketball, and they were really good basketball. Fun team to watch playing basketball. Saw them play a couple times, but you bring back a lot of good kids off of last year's team. Of course, with Josh Manning leading the way, one of the best players in the state of Missouri. How's your summer been, and what do you like about this year's group?
Summer's been really good, man. Our kids have come in with a really focused energy this summer. You know, you hit those days of downs, but I think the ups have been more than the downs with this group. And, you know, we have 34 seniors on the roster right now, which is the biggest group that I've had since my first year here, going back to the Corbin Bergstressers and the Sam Steelers and those guys when I first got here. So we've been kind of looking forward to this year. I hate to say that. I don't want to put a target on our back, but we've been looking forward to this year for a while. And the seniors we had last year were great, man. What a growth year we had last year. You know, we started off and just didn't really know our identity, didn't know who, with a lot of guys that hadn't been on the field that much, and just kind of grew as the year went to the point where, man, we're playing Park Hill South in overtime for a conference championship. We're going down to Joplin in a playoff game and going double overtime, and some big wins down the stretch for us there as we got better as the season went. So we're just kind of looking for those kids that were a part of that last year to really step up this year and kind of take that and run with it from the beginning. You know, our defensive coordinator all the time, you know, will make a silly mistake and he'll just say, guys, we're too old for that. Like, we can't make those mistakes. We're too old for that. Because we do have a lot of veterans. You know, we return 5 or 6 on the front on the defensive line. Return 2 or 3 in the secondary. We return 4 out of 5 starting offensive linemen from last year. Return quarterback, tailback. 2 receivers that played a significant amount last year. So really excited about this year's group.
How's your depth? As we talk about the conference, you got to grind through. You got to grind through that regular season before you get to the postseason. But how's your depth and how are those kids growing underneath them this summer?
That's something that we've really focused on this summer is number one, being able to platoon the entire time, not having guys that have to play on both sides of the ball. So I can say at this point we haven't practiced anybody on the other side of the ball, which says something about our depth. And when you have those 32 seniors, your depth ends up being senior guys and guys that have played or have been a part of the program. So it's been really well. I mean, we have a core group of 7 or 8 offensive linemen that are all seniors. So being able to rotate those guys in and, having a guy to sub at guard and at tackle and those types of things are big. Our tailback depth, I feel like, is really good. I mean, we've got 2 or 3 juniors behind Devin Andrews, who's a senior, who's going to be tremendous. We've got another senior quarterback in Quinn Martin behind Elijah Martinez that gives us depth at that position. Our receiver depth is really good with some young guys, but really like how they've developed this summer. And anytime you can go into a summer and platoon the whole summer, like your depth just continues to grow. We've got 6 defensive linemen that we feel like we can rotate in there, and they're all seniors. Our outside linebacker position is extremely competitive because there's a lot of seniors in those positions there, and we don't know some of our starters right now because there's just a lot of seniors that are vying for those positions.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
We're excited. Good to see you, and appreciate the coverage, and see you more as the year goes.
Deion Closo with Preps KC. We're moving through our virtual media day. Here we are in the new Suburban Silver, the new conference that was added this year. We're joined by Lee Summit North coach Jamar Mosey. And Coach made it all the way to the semifinals last year. Best season in history for Lee Summit North. Came up a little short against CBC. Tough team. They went on to win a state title. Bring a lot of good players back this year. What do you like about this team?
This is probably the most unified group I've had, I would say. And that's kind of a weird word to use, but they like each other. They'll correct each other. They'll police each other. I think that's huge. I'm not saying we haven't had that, but we've been a developing program. And so to get here, in year 8, I think is pretty exciting to see that part of that leadership part is really strong this year. It's the best we've ever had.
We'll bring back a lot of good skill players. Of course, a line anchored by Caden Green. And but you've got 2 new quarterbacks this year, and that's going to be kind of a learning experience, isn't it?
It is. We're asking to do things they haven't done in a game. It's different. Our offense is different than where both of them came from. We do throw it a little bit more. We do, several more, a lot more route concepts. And so we're going to see. I know they both can run. They're both big, strong guys. They're talented, no doubt. They both can throw it. It's just we're going to have to see what happens.
Well, with the new league, you're in with Park Hill South, Lee Summit, Staley, and it's a little different than what you've been before, but you're going to play a lot of the same teams. In fact, week 1, you start off with Liberty North, one of the best games from last year. Your only loss in the regular season. How fun is it to start with that? I know you get plenty of time to prepare for Liberty North this year.
We do, and they get plenty of time to prepare for us. They're well coached, no doubt. It won't be any different with Greg Jones being gone. They got a good staff. They do a really, really good job. Players they're physical and strong. And so they match us in every way, if not more. I mean, they're good. And so we look forward to it. I think as a coach and a player, you want the challenge or while so you're doing it. You know what I mean? And so good on good. And we're excited to go over there and see what happens.
How important is, 1, just staying healthy out of week 1? And 2, how is your depth, or are you trying to develop some depth as the season goes on?
Well, health is everything. I think last year we were able to get as far as we did because of that. Talented and all that sounds good, but we were healthy last year. And so that's important. You want to stay healthy. You never know what's going to happen. Hope you're in great shape and your kids are strong. That plays a part. But we play physical games, and so you don't know. We do have depth, but it is young. I mean, we're young. We're young on the O-line. We're young. We'll be young in places in the secondary. My son is at receiver. He's 15. He's a 15-year-old. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Played at 14 last year. So we have a lot of young guys that are going to go play for us, several sophomores. And so we'll see. We'll see.
It is
Talented,
it.
but we'll see.
Yeah, I know. Even though it's not in the gold anymore, that silver and gold are going to play each other. It's still the same grind, isn't it?
It is. It's no different. I mean, as long as you're still in Class 6, you're going to play some hard teams. And so, our conference silver is no joke. Everybody in our conference is historically have more wins than we do. And so, we're still up and coming. A lot of people don't look at it that way, but we are. We haven't won a state title in our program. There's a lot of things we just haven't done. And so we talk about those things every day. So just stay humble and work. These are good football teams. They're well coached. Like I said, they have tradition. So I don't think there's any drop off in our conference. I just don't believe that. I think it's going to be really competitive week in and week out.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got closer with Preps KC, and we're rolling through our virtual media days. We move on to Liberty and Coach Chad Fergon. And Coach, another solid season last year. You guys have really put together, a good string of seasons. I know you want to go deeper in the playoffs each time, but it's tough to get out of the city. But you return a good amount of defensive players, but not a lot of offensive players this year. What's your team going to look like here in week one?
Yeah, you mentioned our defense. We do return quite a few players, and I hate to say we're going to rely on them early. We're definitely going to rely on their experience and what they have. Offensively, we lost 4 out of our 5 linemen. Had a really good group of linemen last year, but this year we've had kids have improved over the summer. We feel like we're getting back to where we need to be, and then really returned 2 standout offensive players in Ricky Almarazzi and Anthony Winston, and they were both receivers last year. This year, Anthony's going to play running back. But those 2 have been on the field a lot of games for 3 years, and hopefully they're going to help those around them get better.
As you kind of go through your summer, is it, especially when you're looking to replace a lot of guys on the offensive, how important is it for those guys to be there and be ready and for those summer reps? And how did you guys do this summer?
Well, and I think when you look at it, we're just fortunate. We have a really good offensive line coach with Grant Brown, and Coach Brown has worked well with those guys, and a lot of those guys played JV last year, and they're just stepping them up, and it's just getting used to the little faster level of play with varsity. So all in all, it's been a good transition. But yeah, they've had to be here all summer. We definitely use every bit of the time and practices that the state will allow us, not only in the spring but also in the summer, to help get them ready.
Well, I know on the offensive line you'd probably like to only be replacing 1 or 2, but is 4 a good number, especially since they played together last year? So there's that sense of being next to each other all season long.
It is. I do think it helps quite a bit. And, it's always a lot. And we always feel, last year's senior class was we had a lot of kids that were 3-year starters on the offensive line. And so that's kind of something that's not normal. And this is more like usual when it was a transition to year.
Defensively, I think it was last year you were kind of replacing a ton of kids on defense, and now they've got that experience. How have they looked this summer?
Yeah, you mentioned last year we were really coming in trying to figure out how to replace Jalen West, and with coming in this year with a lot of guys back, it's been a good year defensively, or a good summer so far defensively, and just a good mix of kids that that play for each other and know their assignments and play hard, play well. Coach Van Houten does a great job every year. He's been with me over 20 years as defensive coordinator, and but just a good mix of experience and some new young kids that are coming in there and filling in those spots that we did have open.
Well, the league changed a little bit this year. They kind of split up the Suburban Gold, and you're in the Suburban Silver. Same teams you're going to be playing a lot. You open with Lee Summit West. I mean, it doesn't really change your schedule that much. But in terms of the conference, Lee Summit North is there, and Park Hill South, and Lee Summit and Staley, and it's really an interesting league this year with those teams that are in there.
It is, and I kind of told our kids, I said, our schedule's not going to change a lot, but our league is changed in terms of who's in there counting toward our league games. But, for the most part, our out of conference games are teams from would be the league above us in the Suburban Gold. And so it'll be a little, just a different order on some things. The last couple of years we played Columbia, Rockbridge. I mean, this year we'll have teams here in Kansas City. I believe Park Hill South's kind of like taking their place since we're in our league now. And there's just quality teams up and down both of those conferences. And there's never a night off or anything like that. And I think our kids can really buy into that and know that they have to bring it every Friday night to be competitive in these two leagues.
Well, and with a chance to, in the big 8-team league that was all, Class 6 schools, having a chance to maybe get a conference title, that's something to work for, even though in the past where you were battling up a hill with a lot of really good teams.
It is, and our kids, they know that. And we always say that's our ultimate goal, because we know that if we win the conference title, it's going to set us up well for a seeding in district. And we won it in 2017 and 2020. And our kids know the importance of that. And that's our goal, is to get one this year. And at the same time, we'll take it week by week and night by night. And hopefully it'll lead to that way.
Well, Coach, should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for all you do in your coverage of sports in Kansas City.
This is Dion Clisso for Preps KC in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet. Fastest internet with the multi-gig speeds to the most homes. We're a proud sponsor this year of the Preps KC studio, and we got Coach Andy Sims from Park Hill. And Coach, you're the first one now that we've officially named it, first person to be in the Xfinity studios. You see the backdrop behind us. We're thrilled to have them do even more than they've done to help high school football here in the Metro, and glad to have you with us.
It's awesome. Thanks for having me. They're a great sponsor.
Yeah, they do a lot of great things. And a couple of years ago during the pandemic, they had good internet, cheap internet for people when people were trying to work at home. They had a lot of great things there, and a good company, and we're thrilled they're back with us again this year. All right, we're doing our virtual media days, Coach, and here we are. And we're going by conference, which is a little different this year because they had that 5th league in the Suburban Conference. So, which makes it nice. You're in a conference that you can, there's only 5 teams or 6 teams, depending on which league you're in. It's a little more pared down, but at the same time, you're playing a lot of the same teams anyway. So it doesn't change your schedule much, but maybe opportunity for a conference title a little more.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think everybody, including coaches, kids, I think conference title is great, but, we all make the playoffs. So to me, it's more about, how you're playing at the end of the year and how your team looks and what kind of depth you have and all those type of things. And I don't think anybody would turn down a conference title, but at the same time, when the schedule's all the same as the same guys week in, week out, you're kind of focused on the long game.
Well, tell me this is your second year at Park Hill, and you've been through this transition before at Blue Valley North, and I think it's about your second year where things kind of started to take off at Blue Valley North. Is it that first full year that just gets you ready to go, that first full offseason that really helps you see those things come together in the second year?
Yeah, I think so. I think all coaches have, good ideas, good plans. Everybody works hard, but at the same time, I think the key is just trying to find what works best at the school that you're at. And so, doing things here that maybe we did at Blue Valley North, then maybe that's not the best plan of attack, or some things are tried and true. You want to make sure you continue those traditions at whatever place you're at. But I think anytime you go into year 2, anytime you have a different voice, whoever that voice may be, it takes community, it takes kids, it takes administration a little bit getting used to. And so hopefully, as we enter year 2, it's a little less speed bumps and a little bit more gas on the pedal.
Well, you returned some really good skill players on the offensive side of the ball, and that was one of your strengths last year. I know you were kind of looking for some size on the line. Have you kind of cultivated that in the offseason?
Can never have enough size on the line. So that's the one thing that just normally takes a lot of time, getting kids bigger and faster, stronger. There's just not a quick fix recipe for that. So you have to give it time for that weight room to take hold, and you have to get kids in the weight room. And sometimes you're fighting your own school. Sometimes, how do we get this done? And then you're trying to be creative outside of school, whether that's before school, after school. So it's the same headache everybody has. So, but we had a fantastic off season, and definitely I thought that I think it shows in our offensive line, our toughness and our attitude. But we have some very good skill players that hopefully we can put those together with some of the improvements that we made on the offensive and defensive lines.
What group has really taken the biggest step forward for you this offseason?
I don't think we have necessarily one group, which is exciting for me. I think from top down, I think the team as a whole, they understand the expectations, kind of the standard is the standard, so to speak. And so players understand things I get mad at, things I don't maybe care as much about, and really just kind of fine tuning things. And that's what's been a little bit more fun for me this year is kids know expectations, parents know expectations, coaches know expectations. When I first took this job, I wasn't able to bring in 10, 12, 15 guys. It wasn't a brand new school where you can hire a new staff. And so a lot of the coaches were kind of getting to know me and I was getting to know them. And I told them day one, I'm not sure who can do what, but I'll probably know from a year from now. And I feel like we're in that spot right now. And we got a really good group of guys and very, very good coaches.
As you get ready here, and we're a week and a half away from the first game, what are you trying to get out of these last 10 days to get ready?
Try not to lose my hair. That's really the key. It doesn't matter if we're not doing 2 days like we did the old time. It's just, and the older I get, maybe I'm just as guilty as the players. I'm kind of waiting for the games. And so I know practice is important. Don't get me wrong. And we have to get our stuff done. But I think kids, coaches, community, fans in general, when you start to feel weather change like we had this week, it starts getting you excited. You're seeing the Chiefs, you're seeing NFL football back, and your former players are off into college and all those things. I think everybody you get a little antsy and you're excited to get into game week and get into the game one and then hopefully the regular season, routine of things. I know I am.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thanks. As always, I appreciate it, and good luck to everybody out there. Stay healthy, and best of luck to everybody.
We continue our virtual media day here in the Suburban Silver Conference and bring in new Park Hill South coach Benny Palmer. And Coach, coming over from Winnetonka and in what we're calling maybe the greatest coach migration in the Fritz Casey history. A lot of coaches moving around. Alan Willis goes to Blue Springs South. You move over to Park Hill South. I know you got to be excited about taking over this program, especially the great program you had at Winnetonka, how you guys got them moving. But another good challenge here as you take over a very successful Park Hill South.
Oh, no doubt about it. Excited as can be. Great people, there were great people in North Kansas City and Winnetonka, leaving from over there was tough to do. But, the work that Alan did here and his staff, it's a testament to those guys for this program to be as strong as it is, coming from where it was. And then, just excited to be around these good people and these good kids that are just working hard, and they know what's expected and they know what their goals are. So it's pretty exciting times to be here.
Well, the cover's not bare. Graduated some good players. You got Briggs Bartosh coming back, and that's got to make you feel pretty good no matter what's going on.
Briggs Bartosh is a pretty special kid. He works his tail off, and there's a number of kids here. They graduated some absolute studs that have hung some conference banners here for the last couple of years. So having Briggs back, at full speed, and all the things that he can add, and then adding him to just a bunch of pieces on offense and defense, really, that are just some talented kids.
Is there any one side of the ball or a group of position group that's really taking a big step forward for you this summer?
We can talk all day about offense because that's what I'm kind of used to, but our defense is really bringing a lot of guys back. The secondary is pretty much intact. A couple of guys moved over some positions, and a couple of new names might show up on it. But that was a stingy defense last year that Coach Verdi ran, and Verdi's still here. We teamed him up with Coach Cunningham from Winnetonka. And those two are just having fun back there in the secondary. And then with the linebacking core, there's some really good pieces. New names up front on the defensive line. But gosh, they got after it at team camps. They've gotten after it in our scrimmages. We've been pretty happy with the way the defense has been progressing. Leaning on Dylan Love and Scoops up front. I mean, those guys have just been working their tails off.
For you, what's the thing you're focused on now? I mean, we're 10, 12 days away from first game, and you got the last week you're getting ready. What are you focused on right now as you get ready for that first game?
I think tempo is a big thing for us. Just making sure that our tempo is where we want it to be, and our our focus on some of the little details of things, just because it is a different style of approach to the offense and how we're playing, and just trying to monitor the way that plays coming in and out of the huddle so that we're being accurate with what's coming in. We're already obviously. We've been with them all summer long. We know what we got and what we're going to do. It's more just, getting our matchups ready for week one. We got a jamboree in the middle of it, which will be exciting, but everything's pretty much geared up for week one for the last 2 weeks, trying to get ready for it.
Well, Coach, should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Dion Closo with Preps KC. We move through the virtual media days here in the Suburban Silver and bring in Staley coach Steve Rampy. And Coach, second year up there at Staley. And I know you had some struggles the first year, but you bring back a lot of guys, a lot of seniors and juniors that are playing on this team this year, and a lot of guys who've got a lot of experience last year, don't you?
Yeah, we do. And we feel really good about our first 22. And we just working on depth a little bit in the fall camp and trying to get some younger guys a little more experience, ready to help us down the road. But the senior class, we've got 23 seniors. They've done a really good job of providing great leadership and come to practice every day with a lot of enthusiasm and working really hard.
Well, and a second summer has got to mean all the difference for those seniors, with that leadership for them. They're not worried about learning. They're worried about
no question.
Getting things done.
Just the simple basic things. And once you've been in a program for a while, the terminology and practice schedules and, your philosophy on certain things are all learned things that everybody has to acquire after that first year. And we have to learn about them too and kind of know a little more about those kids off the field. And so we just feel like we're more familiar with both sides and feel a lot better where things are right now in year two.
Well, the conference changes this year. The Silver's the new conference. And you kind of move up, and we don't know as recording whether you'll be Class 6 or not. I know you guys are right on that line, kind of like how Parks Hill South bumped up last year, but you've got a Class 6 heavy schedule. That depth is going to be everything, isn't it?
No question. And just not just the depth, just the frontline guys too are going to be really well challenged. And it is a great challenge for our program and our kids. And I think for the most part, they're excited about it. There's probably a little apprehension too, but we're excited to go play. And like I said, when the top 25 came out last week, I think 7 of our 9 opponents are either in it or are also mentioned. So we're going to get tested every week. We know that.
Well, tell me this. I kind of think back to one of your years at Blue Valley in 2009. You guys kind of struggled a little bit during the regular season, but then you were in Class 6A in Kansas and really got going there at the end and almost beat eventual champion Olathe North. Is not that you want to have too many struggles going on, but that's kind of something you can look back on that year especially.
Absolutely. I think our record that year was 5-7. I'm not even sure how you get to a 5-7 record, but we did, and our kids, just kept believing, and that's what you got to try to get your kids to do every week. That you're going to meet some adversity, and certainly with our schedule, we're going to have some struggles maybe early, but we just got to keep grinding and keep coming to work every day and trying to get better every day, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll be pretty good.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
I appreciate you and everything you do for high school sports.